Hey guys, Jay here from Fearful to Fit, and I have been watching the 9 guest speaker success stories that they are sharing with you in the 8-week group program this fall. And it got me thinking how all these people are sharing their stories of transformation, and I haven't even done that yet. So I want to start from the very beginning of how I even became a board certified holistic health coach, women's fitness specialist, yoga and bar teacher, and founder of this girl party. So my journey originally started and was spurred from a breakup, a really bad breakup where like friends were involved, and it just shattered me. It dropped me to my knees, and I had no idea how to pick myself up. And from the grace of my aunt and uncle offering me the opportunity to come stay with them in Anchorage, Alaska for as long as I wanted to heal my broken heart, I took their offer and I boarded that plane with no energy, no idea of where, who, or what I was going to be or do in this life. And when I got off the plane, my aunt and uncle said that they saw me coming down the escalator with my jet black hair and my all black outfit and said I just looked so depressed. And it's fuzzy. And I think it's fuzzy when you are in such a dark place. Like you don't remember things. You're just going through the motions trying to survive. So when I got there, I started hiking. I started going on bike rides, long walks in nature. I worked at a production company as a production assistant because I ended up being there for a month and I love to work. And I got to experience the power of nature and its healing properties. And it was also there that my uncle suggested we try a yoga DVD. So I had heard about yoga, and in high school I was a gymnast, cheerleader, soccer player, softball player, and movement has always been a huge part of my life. So I said, all right, I'll give it a shot. So we did a yoga DVD, and I can't even explain the thoughts and how my body and my mind connected. It was like no other workout I had ever done. I instantly became obsessed, and I was doing that yoga DVD 5 days a week. And I came home a little bit lighter, and not just with my weight, but in my shell, in my body, in my mind, in my spirit. And I came home, I had found my self-confidence. I had found, a little bit more of some self-worth. And it still wasn't enough to make me, and I know this is like, come on, you're banging your head against the wall. But it still wasn't enough to make me ditch the guy permanently. It was like a addiction. I just couldn't break it. And so that adventure had spurred me into traveling, and my aunt is so inspirational in her independence, and so that kind of was like, okay, I can do this. So from there I started going to yoga every single day, and I went to Bikram. I started with that 5 days a week for an entire year. I was obsessed, addicted. I loved it. And from there, one of my best friends and I decided to take this teaching English as a second language course. And we chose to teach English in Thailand. We bought one-way tickets to Southeast Asia, and within 8 months of planning, taking the class, saving money in case something were to happen, we took the plane trip to Bangkok, checked in, took our little teacher training course, took a train up north to Lampong, Thailand, where we taught English to elementary age kids for 4 months. Now, that was the first time I had been away from my family for that long and from the language that I was born with. So it was, just so much culture shock in every way. And I just felt really lost there. And I didn't exercise that much. It was so damn hot that the idea of exercising outside was, it was so hot all the time. And that was when a big low grade depression really started. It was then when I realized how important exercise is for my mental health, not only physical, not just keeping me in shape, but it was there that I experienced real depression. And I think it had a lot to do with everything we were going through and all the changes and just trying to adapt as best we could to this new culture and all the food. So this is where it really happened. This is like pivotal moment right here. We went to Thailand. I was eating salads every day from the market. Now just think about this. First world country girl comes to Thailand and expects to be fine eating raw salads from Thailand, which is a third world country, from a food market. No. My gut health was not strong enough to deal with that. I had no idea what probiotics were. I had already experienced food allergies before I left. So when I was in Thailand, I got parasites, didn't know it. We ended up traveling for 4 months after teaching. So we were in Southeast Asia for a total of 8 months. I came home 20 pounds heavier, no energy, vertigo, food allergies that prevented me from eating anything, anxiety, which was something that I had never experienced. I was so depressed, so out of it, so reverse culture shock that when I came home, my mom just, I just saw tears in her eyes and she just said, "You look completely lifeless." And it's how I felt. I didn't know how to help myself. I didn't know what to do. It was something I had never experienced. Everything I ate made me sick. My stomach was bloated. I had gained all this weight. I was back into the same city where that guy lived that I tried to get out of my heart. But, the moment I got back, I think the night I got back, I went over to his house. And it was just like all these toxic things were going on in my life, in my brain, in my body. And so that was when I really started paying attention to my health, because at this point I was 25. So I started working with a naturopath because I'm someone who never takes Tylenol, or I didn't even really take vitamins, and was anti-supplements. So I worked with a naturopath for a while who said that I had parasites, I was deathly allergic to peanuts, and all these other weird vegetables like bell peppers and tomatoes, and I was allergic to fruits like grapes. So all these different things. And I had to learn how to eat again. So when I got home, after I had traveled around in Southeast Asia for almost a year, one thing I did connect with there was yoga. I would ride my bike in monsoon weather just to make a yoga class. So whether that was in Thailand, that was in Cambodia, in Vietnam, in Bali, I went to yoga wherever I could find it because it was the only thing that made me feel good. It was the only thing that calmed me down and made me think, okay, everything's going to be okay. So after I got home, I realized how much I loved yoga. And so I decided to become a teacher. So I went through teacher training. And while I went through teacher training, I started realizing how much I loved wellness and health and fitness and how it's all connected. And so I signed up for nutrition school like shortly after I graduated as a teacher. And I went through the year-long program at Institute of Integrative Nutrition based in New York. I learned over 150 dietary theories, got to hear amazing guest speakers like Dr. Weil, I always say the names wrong, Dr. Weil, all these insanely knowledgeable, holistic wellness practitioners. And I was just like, oh, it's like when you're watching a movie and you're glued to the screen because you just can't get enough. And I was like taking down notes, and I filled up notebook after notebook. And I was talking a mile a minute to my friends and family about everything I was learning, and was like, oh my God, I found it. This is what I want to do with my life. So I also ended up healing myself. So while I was at nutrition school, I realized I had such an unhealthy relationship with food, and I was always seeking weight loss. And my dream goal was always to weigh 125 pounds. And I don't know why. Like, where did that even come from? So I got really interested into the emotional and psychological side of weight loss and weight gain, and why we create these goals. Like, where do they come from? Why do we create these unhealthy and healthy habits with food? Why do we think that that's healthy and that's not? Why do we restrict? Why do we binge? Why do we have eating disorders? Why do we have anxiety? So I just was like, oh my God, just soaking it up. And from there, I started working with a detox specialist who totally helped me come from this place of thinking I was being healthy, eating all these soy products, into this place of just total harmony and high vibes, high energy, real, true health. And it wasn't health from a diet or a plan or counting calories or saying no to these foods and yes to these foods. It was like real health at its finest. So once I learned all these things, I started coaching women. And after I started coaching women and creating all these programs and teaching yoga classes, I started teaching barre, and then I became a women's fitness specialist. And then I got really empowered and stepped into my own worth. I found my confidence, because if you know anyone in my family, you would know that it starts from even before my grandmother, my mom's mom. We come from a family of low self-worth and women who have just felt like they needed to prove themselves with all of their accolades and what they do. And it's this long line. It's my grandmother, my mom, me, my aunt, my cousin. It's just like, for some reason, because maybe teachers or men or other people have told us that, you know, you're not good enough, you don't have the smarts to get into something like that. Or, you know, I had a teacher in high school where I raised my hand to answer a question, and she said, you know, I'm not going to call on you because we all know you're not going to know the answer. And so I have like people like that against me. And so I really had to work on owning my knowledge, my expertise, my passion, my drive, my worth, confidence, everything, to be able to found this Fearful to Fit sisterhood of health coaching. And so that's where I am today in 2016. I have the confidence now, and I have the passion, and I know how to package things so people can have that real success. Like, I really truly believe in what I'm doing. And my passion is greater than making money and having gazillions of people sign up for my programs. My passion is for women to experience change, for them to see their own potential, and for them to leave all those crappy feelings and the doubts and the low self-worth, to leave that in the dust and develop a healthy relationship with mind, body, and soul. So that is where I'm at today. That is my story of how I went from this shell of a person, low energy, how do I eat, into this person who just, I know how to help people now. I know how to help myself. I know what to eat and drink when I have low energy. I know what to do to get myself going. So if any of that helped you or resonated with you, or you were saying, yeah, like I've struggled with that too, or I've gotten clear on that, whatever it is, I am here for that exact reason. So thank you for watching my story. It is an honor to be here.